Maybe. Yay. Broadcasting. Says we're up. Right. Tap, tap. I don't hear you doubling up for once, but that might change once we actually get in there. Do we did you get the notif? Did I get the notif? Is it up? Oh, I can too. Uh-oh. Odd.
Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. What kind of man are you anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme,
That's good. I like that.
stanza kind of rhymes with
I
the
like
last
that.
one.
What?
Hopefully it'll work.
Oh, amazing. It's one of those weeks.
And I was muted, so, oh my god, it is absolutely one of those weeks. Guys, how is it going out there? Thursday night, time for another episode of Foil Variant. I mean, it wouldn't be our show, it wouldn't be me and Andrew if we didn't start off with some ridiculous tech problems, whether that be his audio output not working, as I let you guys know in the chat, or as you guys heard me over the waiting screen or saw the little hiccups right there. It's a lot of things in motion, especially when, it's a lot of things in motion around here with trying to get everything set up. I'm working on things behind the scenes, obviously, to, give us a better show and a better presentation. It's a lot, especially when we have a very limited schedule, because Andrew, today you have a stream right after this, don't you?
Yeah, 7 p.m. Central, I will be on the For the Homies podcast, which I'm really looking forward to. I've actually been trying to hang out with those guys for the better part of the last year and a half. A couple of them are big fans of the Rippaverse and the work we do over there. They're just really nice guys. A couple of them come out to a lot of the cons that we go to. And so I'm really excited to actually be able to hang out with them. And Caro's been on there with them a number of times, and she always talks about how she has a really good time with them. It's just good, positive energy, positive vibe, good stuff, which I think the world, and especially us as geeks, need a little bit more of these days. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So, guys, make sure you check that out. I will actually drop the link here so I can, yeah, I just got your DM. I'll grab
Perfect.
That link.
Yeah,
so
we'll make sure we'll get you guys over there, but definitely go hang out with Andrew. Obviously, he will be talking a little Blue Shift, a little Arc Stream, whatever you want to call him, Arc Shift, Blue Stream. He will and of course, I'm sure whatever pop culture topics of the day pop up, what have you, likely Supergirl, likely the end of physical media from PlayStation, the GTA 6 and everything. It's all dumb right now, you know what I mean? But guys, we don't have time right now for me and Andrew, very hardcore, I hate the term gamers, but like video game enthusiasts. We could go on forever about what all these changes mean for everything. So we'll save that for another show because like we said, we got to get Andrew, he's on a tight schedule tonight. So with that, we will probably skip saying hi to the chat as well. Just roll right into this thing. According to everyone, we sound good. I'm not getting any, muted feedback. I caught it, Masta. Don't worry. But to Masta, to Zayd, to Punk, What's up, guys? Happy to have you here at the start. Everybody else, happy to have you, whether you're, joining us in the VOD, you're joining us late, then I don't know how you would see this message anyway. But I'm just rambling. Andrew, how are you, my friend? It's been a week again. I know you've been super busy between work and Rippaverse, work and Rippaverse, Rippaverse promo, doing your own writing, and the merry of it all. How's it going? How you doing?
You know what? You kind of summed it up pretty well. I've been pretty freaking busy. Between trying to spend some time with Mary when I can, a lot of the stuff that I've got going on at work. I've been trying to get work done on my own scripts that I'm working on. I actually sent Eric a pitch for something this afternoon for something I recently completed. And then I completed another script.
Is this what I think it is?
Something that's
is this
my
the one
own
you've been talking
thing.
about?
Well, one of them, yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm
awesome.
I'm excited and I'm confident, and I think it's going to be fun. Caro just finished reading it, I think, and she really enjoyed it. So that's always positive because she's actually very difficult to please. Hopefully Mary likes it as well. But yeah, I've just been stupid busy.
I don't think Mary's legally allowed to not like it. You know what I mean? Like, I think if she says I don't like it, the justice of the peace or whoever does it, right, or the minister will be like, I don't know about this. This doesn't sound like in for sickness or in health to me. But no, I know you've been super busy. Andrew and I were actually joking the other day that, hey, how's it going? It's been a busy week for me. How about you? Yeah, me too. How did we know it was a busy week for each other? Well, because in a regular week, if we don't talk to each other outside of like Thursday night, it means we're super busy. We'll shoot like a link or two, but if we're not like chatting about something throughout the week, one of us
if we don't at least have a couple of like 10-15 minute back and forths of, a video game thing or a comic book thing, then it's like, man, we were both just swamped.
I mean, I've barely gotten any Instagram sends from you. You know what I mean? Like, that's how swamped I know you've been. I actually notched it to myself the other day. I was like, I know
no new was it the Robservations or whatever the
one good content that Rob Liefeld like actually puts out. Like, the man. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys out there have seen this phenomenon going on, but the current artist of The Flash, Gavin Gaudry, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Gavin Gaudry, yeah.
Yeah, he is very active on Twitter, and there's been a lot of like criticism or just not vibing with his artwork on The Flash. Andrew and I have talked about this all the time. It's just not dynamic for he's technically talented, and honestly, if you look at his lines or like his inks, there's more there, but for some reason he just doesn't go that one little extra ingredient, he's just not throwing it in there. But instead of actually, being, taking that or just, being a creator, being mature, he's very active doing everybody's talking crap, but guess what? We got a second print. Like, he's being like that. And I bring that up because Rob is the opposite side of that, like, okay, comic creator, go to bed, get off the internet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Gavin is very misguided and a little immature, but Rob is like, Grandpa, nobody cares about Youngblood. I saw he made a tweet the other day where he was like, independent artists or independent writers, have you been looking for like your opportunity to work on Youngblood? I'm accepting, pitches for, I think it's like an anniversary issue or something.
Probably some sort of an anthology thing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And I was like, on one hand, that is a really cool thing, right? Just going, hey, open submissions. On the other, I'm like, Rob, it's Youngblood. This kind of feels like you just were like, hey, anybody want to write for me? No?
Yeah.
No. You can write for me. What about you? Right? And I'm just like, Rob, I will eat all my words, Andrew, if we get a Youngblood casting, like a genuine Youngblood live action casting. I'm not going to put it on Rob to give me the full product because that's just unfair in today's Hollywood. But if we get like a genuine, we're announcing it, and it's going to be, I don't fucking know, Aaron Taylor Johnson as Shaft or something. And it's, then I'll go, okay, Rob, okay. I will go and buy your omnibus. All right, Rob, here, you and me right here. And I'll get the Youngblood omnibus and the Supreme omnibus because Supreme can just beat anything.
It's funny because before we dive into our books from, I guess,
Yeah.
at least the main two books from the last 2 weeks. So I think we'll hit Batman from this week and Venom from last week because I think those are the most standouts. Then we got to talk Supergirl.
I mean, we could also probably really quick hit. We got another Superman, and maybe just take a second to gush. Unless you didn't read it
we
yet.
did. Oh man, I did. No, I definitely
okay,
did.
Good. One of my favorite covers of the year too. But
I prioritize Joshua Williamson's like prime time.
See,
That's
I do the opposite thing. Like I do the thing you do, where like I save that for last because I know
that's what I was doing with Witchblade, and then you know what's happened?
Witchblade.
I'm 6 issues behind on Witchblade right now in terms of my reading. So, like, by the time I get around to actually reading them, the trade's going to be out for that arc, and I'll just read the trade.
But you don't. But then I say this with love. You're not going to read the trade either. I know you've got like 9 trades sitting behind you that are like, have you read World's Finest yet? I've got
No.
Fuck this. Like, I've literally got the other volume sitting here waiting for you to like finish that so I can go, ah ha ha ha, good. Next, you're ready. And you won't do it. No, I'm kidding. But
I have to get to it. I want to get to it.
It's the same for me over here. I've got tons of stuff that I've been meaning to read. We have lives, unfortunately. We can't just run up to our tree houses or our clubhouses anymore and while the days away. But
it's just funny that like we're so adamant about our criticisms of Rob in certain respects, and then others were like constantly like, why does he say things that like makes him likable?
That is like that's the like exchange you and I always have. We'll send one of those Robservations or like his take on publishing somewhere, and we'll be like, stop, like the man is so insufferable, but when he's right, he's right. Like, damn it, stop being likable is probably one of the things you and I say. It could be like qualified as a catchphrase at this point, right? Like, damn it, Rob, like stop making yourself likable. But aside from that, I don't think we really have any Rob Liefeld books on our stacks this week. I don't know why we would.
No Youngblood for me.
I don't feel that's a sale sign anymore. But we did get some. We got some pretty good covers this week. What did you pick up? Did you pick up anything?
I only had
this is crazy. I can't believe they didn't have like the swimsuit issue for you, the JLA Avengers.
I didn't get to my shop until like 2:30 or 3 p.m. right?
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I got there, no copies of Avengers versus JLA, no copies of any of the covers of the swimsuit.
That's
Marvel
crazy.
Swimsuit
That
issue.
one's crazy.
Nothing. So part of me is wondering, like, did that shipment just not happen? I didn't even think to ask. I just saw that they weren't there, and I knew I was there in the later afternoon. So I was like, you snooze, you lose, sucker. Like, you know.
But it's like the swimsuit issue is one of those ones where it's like, your shop knows it's gonna sell, right?
And traditionally, my shop does stock.
You put a J. Scott Campbell cover on things with. Like, and it's just, of course it's going to sell, right? Or you give them a foil variant Rogue Gambit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I know, dude. What's his name? Mahmoud Asrar. Like, I really like his style. And yeah, made the foil variant pop all the more. I can't believe they didn't have any for you. Like,
none.
But I didn't even think about that either. Like, our whole, common complaint about the shipping schedules, because there was a new number. I don't know what exactly it is, but there's this like new sub series of one shots coming out called like Challenges of Doom, and the first one came out yesterday was Challenges of Doom, Mr. Fantastic. Whatever, I don't really care. Didn't even ask my Pakistani friend to hook me up. I just don't care about whatever's happening over there. But it came with a Peach Momoko variant of like the 4, like it's the Fantastic Four and Doom, and of course I'm gonna be on that. I went to the shop, they didn't even have like the spot on the shelf for it, which like I've told you and I've told our viewers before, like the Peach Momoko wars, right? Like there's me and one other
you
person
and one
at
other
that
guy,
shop.
yeah.
So I know they would have ordered like 1 or 2 maybe, and at least it had the spot, and it like disappeared, but nothing. And they didn't get the Mirka Andolfo variant either, so maybe there's something with that. It's what do we like? I know this is too big of a thing to like answer right now and to really get into, but it's like, how do we go about demanding change? Like, how do we go, like, guys, you need to get your shit together. This cannot keep going, right? Where I don't know what I'm going to have when I go out to the shop. You and I have done that thing where we go, oh, hey, I picked up this book. And I go, Andrew, that book's like 2 weeks old. And you're like, oh, it just came in. Or we go in and we're like, oh, yeah, this is supposed to be out today. Hey, do you have any copies? Do you? Da-da-da-da-da. And it's just, it's untenable.
That's almost exclusively happened with Marvel books for me.
And I think it is something to do with Penguin, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know enough. I know you and I know the very big overlay of how publishing works, but we don't know the specifics for Penguin or the Marvel deal, you know, in the print. It's just, it's untenable for you and me as fans and for everybody out there, but I can't even imagine how it is for the shop owners, right? Like, I went into my shop this Wednesday, and now things are like falling into place, because I went into my shop Wednesday, and my normally not necessarily cheery, because you should never expect like retail people to be like super cheery or whatever, because retail sucks, but they're always, you know, greeting you with a smile. They'll always like chat about like what you grabbed when you go up to the register. This yesterday, like, it felt like somebody just got shot in the back room, and they were all trying to, like, normal day, keep going.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing now, and then when I was like standing there checking out, the owner came in, which is like, it's not his, I know that's not his day to come in. They always talk about it, yada yada. So I'm guessing something happened with orders and deliveries that just like genuinely set off some sort of financial bomb or stock bomb or something. So I don't know. We can't call our senators and be like, hey, can you get Penguin to ship better? So I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with them.
But yeah, guys, look at JLA.
That Dan
Avengers,
Moore.
JLA.
He said you got the last Moore cover too, right?
The last one of this, and I shit you not, I stood there for.
I'm glad you got your hands on a Moore cover.
I'm glad I got my hands on this, like, but I'll or like, what am I trying to say here? I'll admit that I spent a good like 10 minutes in the shop staring at the, obviously as they do with every facsimile, there's the foil like reprint of the cover, right? And this is issue 2, which has the amazing Perez shot of like the Avengers and the JLA actually fighting. And I'm like, oh man, like that's so cool, so cool. Like, and I battled like, do I get it? Do I get it? And then I went, okay, I'll get it if I can go find the first issue foil facsimile, right? Didn't exist at my shop. So I went, you know what? I can be okay being like, I don't need number 2 right now.
Because otherwise it would stick out like a Roman candle.
Exactly. But someday I'll get all of those. You know what I want in a facsimile? I want to get all the Crisis issues in that like foil facsimile and just put it on display, because those are...
Oh, they've been releasing those.
The Crisis ones are done, and then they also did the first Secret Wars with like the symbiote suit and everything. So they finished out those, and now they're doing like random one-off stories that don't really like coincide with anything. Like they did the Phoenix one the other week with the Dyke Ruin non-foiled cover for some reason. But remember, like that, we were like, huh, why a Phoenix thing? She's literally not doing anything right now.
Yeah.
And even
her solo maxi ended. She's not in the main books right now. She showed up for 2 seconds at the end of Endgame.
I was gonna Endgame. She did?
Or whatever. The Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Endgame.
Oh, Ultimate Endgame. I thought you were talking about Avengers Endgame, because I was gonna go to like, she's not even in a movie right now, right? Like neither Famke Jensen or Sophie Turner are coming back for Doomsday or any of that stuff. And even if Sadie Sink turns out to be Jean in Spider-Man, they're not gonna say she's Phoenix. There's no fucking way. Like, Hollywood's dumb, but there's no way they're dumb enough to just go like, "Hey, I'm Phoenix."
Yeah, Hollywood, don't ever utter the word Phoenix when it comes to Marvel Comics ever again. At this point, I'm not interested.
I'm at the very least, get a different guy to write it. They got Simon Kinberg both times, and I'm just like, why do you let him? It's the current day Jeff Loeb of comics. Like, stop letting him write. I don't understand what we're doing here. But
the man's prime is behind him.
The man's prime is very much behind him. But enough of that blathering about covers and such. And then I love these Batgirl ones by what's his name? Like the Korean artist, like Kim.
Ki-young.
Yeah. Like I love
he's
these ones,
so
man.
good. I love his Supergirl that I got. The one that he was super kind to. All I did was pay to have one of them signed.
I remember that.
And he wound up, I forget if he signed both, but he at least signed one of them and just added a remark because.
That's so cool.
Just cause. Which, like, adding a remark, like looking at the price thing, was gonna be like $100 or something like that, and he just decided to do it. Like he signed it, and then like I was the first one in line at his booth, and just thanked him for putting out really cool looking work. And I mean, he actually didn't speak a lick of English, so it was actually his translator,
really?
his
Wow.
manager that like was translating for me. And then he just he smiled and nodded, and then he just started drawing on the cover. I was like, oh shoot.
And he was probably bored, right?
Yeah.
Because that reminds me of, and I've told the story before, but when I got Rose Besh to sign my Comic-Con Marvel Rivals Jean Grey exclusive, right? Like,
she's so good.
She's so good, but she's also so cool because she had a busy line, and she saw that I was coming up. She's like, "Oh, hold on a second, let me get through the line." And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, no worries." And then a big stack of I don't know why this is legal, and I fucking hated it, but this guy comes over with a stack of 100 books of whatever, of her cover, and was like, some guy just bought, bulk ordered this and wants them all signed or whatever, yada yada.
Right,
probably
so you
gonna
can
get
flip
them graded. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, you could tell she didn't want to sit there and do her name 100 times. So the guy was like, okay, yeah, come back in a second. She'll still do it. I walked around. I was like, okay, I come back. I come back, 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later. She's not even halfway done, but she goes, come over here. And she just signs it up because she wanted to talk to another person, right? Instead of just shitting out the same thing.
Get this other guy out of my face for
Right.
5 seconds.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love those moments when comic creators are super cool as opposed to being super dicks. I don't know. You bring up that thing about the remarks and how they're so expensive, and they are for a good reason. And it reminds me of Peter Mayhew charging $400 for a photo, or the Black Ranger charging $50 for a selfie on your phone. Okay, I don't know. There's one of them's cool, one of them sucks.
Right? It's you're not that cool, bro. You were all right back in the 90s.
And I feel so bad because there are people like us out there who in the 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever, went to the first sci-fi convention and got a Mark Hamill signature and a Carrie Fisher or whatever, and he's like, the last one I need is I need Chewie. Okay, yeah, now I'm charging $500 or whatever. It's 2008. Well, I guess I've got to pay it because how else am I gonna get it? Yada yada yada.
Only when you're missing of the cast, right?
You're gonna end up doing it. Just like I paid $80 for that Symbiote Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man #1 variant from Chichetto. Which, guys, I know that the Ultimate Universe has officially ended, and not only ended, but we got the finale issue. We will get to it. It is, Andrew's a couple issues behind. I have to hook him up with my Pakistani friend stuff. We know it's, one of the bigger things to talk about in recent comics, but we've just been behind, and honestly, because it's been, we're not going to have anything really positive to say about everything. What did we last talk about? Ultimate Endgame 3? Everything since that, we're not going to have anything really positive to say, but we will cover it and we'll talk about it. But we need to catch up on it because we both just were like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is so painful. I'm not having fun anymore.
Yeah. And
But-
if I'm not enjoying a book from having fun with it, I'm not gonna dedicate my
I-
very minimal amount of time.
I'll
and
only
energy
do it.
to
I'll
reading.
only do it for research purposes. If somebody's like, you got to see how bad this
Sure.
book is, right? And it's okay, I'll check that out. Or people pay us to do it, maybe through a Patreon that maybe we're setting up. I don't know, but
Review
Andrew,
this arc or something.
right? That's
like
kind of
that,
what I was
right?
going for. You guys pay us, and we'll go. Okay, you want us to read Mr. Miracle? We'll fucking read Mr. Miracle, but you're paying us to do it, right?
Wait. Tom King's Mr. Miracle.
It'll be at a high tier. Don't worry. That I'm gonna try and keep that one out.
That's a high tier.
There will be a
and
Tom King tier. Yeah.
Anything Tom King or Mariko Tamaki, honestly, like Tom Taylor's probably not too far off. Like that requires a high tier, and that is strictly Pakistani hookup. That's
no.
That's not entering my home.
No. We'll go to the library at worst, right? I don't know why I'm dodging around it. Everybody knows what we're talking about. Whatever, FBI. I know who's in charge of you right now. You're not finding anything. So, Andrew, where should we go now? I know we spend a little too much time chatting because, again, like we said, we haven't really had time to catch up this week. But we got comics. What do you want to hit? Anything in particular you want to bring up before we obviously get into the Supergirl of it all, which will probably be the end of the show, so we have the most time to talk about it because we've got a lot to say about it. Obviously.
Let's hit Venom first.
Alrighty. I'm going to be honest. I barely even remember what happened in this issue. Okay.
Not a lot happened except for a couple of things that I called months ago.
You called very hard. So let's jump over here. Hey, Matt's here. Crouching Taylor, Hidden Swift. What's going on, buddy? Did you see she's about to get like married in the most like embarrassing? They're like renting out Met Stadium and they're turning it into like a big castle for like a big ceremony or whatever. And I'm just like,
that is so pretentious and stupid.
It's not like, I don't even know if it's pretentious as much as that it's like childish. And my only thought is like,
it's like, I'm gonna rent out Disneyland for a day to get married. It's
my thought is like, girls who never went to prom are the most dangerous women to like get married to, right? like that was my first thought. And ladies, I love you. And fellas, ladies you can still find good women out there, but just know if your girlfriend or fiance didn't go to prom, your wedding is gonna be something. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about weddings right now. That's happening for Andrew at a later date. Me, probably not. But we are talking Venom. We are at 259 on the official book after coming back from All New Venom. We have MJ finally. I guess you could say this is the proper date. It's that League of Comics Geek thing, right? Like,
right. It's that like what qualifies as first appearance and what qualifies as proper debut of, right?
Exactly.
We got one panel first appearance in the last issue of like full synchro, MJ Venom. But now finally, this issue is when we actually see it in the story.
But then, like, kind of to what you were saying, she still doesn't do anything with, like, it's just there.
she's not fighting.
Like
right.
We just see her in it. So I'm like, what do I want? Do I take them together? I don't know. I'll let all of you speculators deal with that one, not me. Oh, speaking of speculators, I just wanted to note this. Have you seen the recent tweets and stuff around Absolute Batman? Like Absolute Batman #1, it's that copy is worth like $400 right now, ungraded, on eBay. So
ungraded?
Ungraded. So like the copies you and I have sitting in our long boxes, $400.
Like not signed?
Nothing. Like right off the shelf, like you and I buy them.
What?
And
that's insane.
Exactly. And I'm like, I told you yesterday, I was like organizing or like putting away a bunch of comics. I saw that Absolute Batman, like that we have, and I held it in my hand, and I'm like, this thing is worth a fucking fort. Like if I'm ever gonna get something graded, it might be this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, damn is all I'll say. I don't know if I'll ever sell it, but when I die and my nieces and nephews or whatever like need to do something useful with life and they need money, they can go, I don't know anything about this. Sell it to Nicolas Cage. I don't know. Actually, yeah, I don't know. But back to Venom.
He is a big comic dork.
So he says. I heard a thing where, and maybe guys, people like all of you out there, and you, Andrew, like, am I crazy? Did he not come out a couple weeks ago and be like, oh, I didn't name my son Kal-El because I like Superman. I just like the way it sounded. Did I dream that?
I didn't hear that.
Was that a clickbait thing? Did I dream that? Like, all of these could be valid explanations, but I feel like I heard that recently, and it like not necessarily made me like dislike him, but it took the big shine off of like, oh, you were like pretty cool. If not eccentric,
that would be
weird.
annoying if he was like, oh, I just like how it sounded, not because I'm a fan of Superman. Like, no, if you're gonna name your son Kal-El or even just Cal, like,
right.
I expect you to be a Superman fan.
Like,
and if you say you're not a Superman fan, then you need to go change your child's name.
Culture, like, I'm gonna drop the card. It's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, that is cultural appropriation. That's not your word. That's our word. Right?
You can't say that. Yeah, exactly. It's for us. But what word you guys can say is Venom. And I just noticed, why the hell is the cop, like the trade dress so weird? Like, why is Venom, like the thing marked all the way to the
pushed
like,
way over to the side? You know, I will say this with as much tact as I can manage. A lot of cover artists draw their cover compositions under the assumption that their cover is the virgin variant. And they don't think about having enough headspace for the title of it.
Yeah. But it's like, even if you'd have moved the Marvel box, right, and the Ewing and the Gomez right there, like the credits, and you just had Venom across the top, I think that would have looked sick.
Well,
like,
you
justify
can.
It.
So frequently they have it in like one of the bottom corners, right? For
they
that, and
have
then just
that
have the title up top.
They have that specific.
Do that all the time.
Like the Marvel one, and I can see it. It says like it's in white text at the bottom with no background, right? It's just like 001, very small text, like variant edition. Marvel does it. I don't know why they. It's very weird. Or even here would have been cool, and maybe you appreciate this as like a comic artist as well. Make the Venom like curves. You know how the Amazing Spider-Man logo like like curves out a little, like splays out. Do that with the Venom logo over like MJ, so it looks like the Venom logo itself is also popping out with her, right? Do a little Jean Grey X-Men Phoenix crushing type thing. So very weird, but hey, that's not Carlos Gomez's fault. He drew a great cover. I'm sure this looks. I wish they should have. They should have foiled this one. Like genuinely should have foiled this one.
Dude, no, spot foil it. Just spot foil the gold. Spot foil the gold.
Only spot foil the gold or only spot foil the red. I can't tell which would be cooler. Technically the coolest way to do it would be foil the red and then that 90s embossing that we used to do on covers.
So here's what you do. Gold. Here's what you do. You do a soft matte gloss not matte gloss, but it's matte pseudo foil on the red, right? And then what you do is you do a foil emboss on the gold, including the logo.
Yes, and like, do you give a different effect to the darker bits of the symbiote gold that she's like the behind the background parts? Does that help differentiate it, or? And I ask you because you know the actual presentation of it. Yeah, I know it's a lot harder. I know it's a lot harder
when it comes to like the actual printing side of that. Yeah. Most printers would say absolutely not.
Yeah.
If you want to foil all the gold, we're gonna foil all the gold, and it's gonna just foil and emboss all the gold areas. It's gonna pop there. That's what it is.
Yeah, we're not gonna go like we're not gonna make an entirely new, essentially like printing set for your one order. Like, there's no way to justify it. Or you can pay us $9 million a print and we'll do it.
Yeah, like if the order count is insanely high to where they're like, sure, why not? I guess we'll charge you, I don't know, like $10 per book, and then you can sell them for $50 per book.
And everybody profits, because we will. I mean, I was gonna say we will buy them, but I'm like, then I remember like Marvel, you don't reprint anything. You never reprint any of your stuff, so there's nothing of yours to buy. But yes, here we are. We're back at Venom, as Andrew noted. Oh, by the way, we're still here,
still going. That is remarkable.
I don't even know who to like at on Twitter. I was reading it last week, and I was like, foil variant account gets like not like it gets better traction than like our accounts, right? Like occasionally.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, maybe somebody could see this, but I'm like, who do I even at? Like Tom Brevoort doesn't use it. The real Marvel, like at Marvel, is never going to answer anything because they probably get tagged in 9,000 things a day. So I feel like you and I have to set up something for like the stream or the viewers and be like, hey, is today going to be, or is this issue going to be the issue where they do it? And if they do, everybody gets something. I don't know. Well, I think it's just ridiculous. There's no way we should be like 2 years in on this book.
Yeah.
2.5 years, and you're still making this error, right? Like I can't even imagine the people who are reading this on Unlimited and they're getting this. Like Disney,
Yeah, this is like day one.
This is like unacceptable, right? Like I to get a little petty, and I'm getting petty, not for Andrew, but for me. This is like when everybody gets on the Rippaverse, right? Like if this was in a book that you guys put out, like if this was in False Start #1.
Oh
no,
God, you'd never hear the end of it.
That's literally took the words right
Ever.
out of my mouth. It would be the only thing anybody said in response to anything ever till the end of fucking time.
Yeah.
And for Marvel, Disney, I'm sure somebody else has to have said something to them. Or
There's no way to
tagged them
have it.
or whatever. Right. And just nada, zilch. But as Andrew was saying, we rejoin our heroine and hero, combined heroine, I guess, now that they're fully bonded. And MJ finally gets a visit from, gosh, what's his name? I love it so much. It's Captain something. Like, it's not Captain Universe. It's so comic booky. I remember.
I genuinely don't remember. Was it like Captain Unity or something? No, it couldn't have been that.
No, it's not that. I know where you're going because I'm going there too. You and I have been talking about Captain Universe a lot lately.
That might
so like
be it.
that's where
That might
our
be why
brain's
I went
going.
there.
But that's not his. That's what it is. There we go. Okay, I just went and I pulled up the page. It is. Where are we? Captain Alliance. That's
Alliance,
what it was.
Unity. I was close.
You were very,
Whatever.
very close. But again, I
Piss
remember
off.
you and I were like, and I still stand by it. If you're not down for this, you might need to find another medium to enjoy.
I was gonna say like this just might not be the medium for you, or go read horror comic books, or like indie,
or like manga or something.
Yeah.
Like, because this is the
that's
American
as comic booky
book.
of a name as it gets.
Of a name, of a concept, of a design. Like, I'll admit that's a really gaudy and a really bad design. But as soon as I look at that through the lens of like a 70s, 80s like space character, little bit more bearable, but then it still like works. I don't like the black like, you know me, MCU lines anywhere. You really got to justify why it's there. But Captain Alliance, so MJ has finally got her visit from Captain Alliance, who has come to Earth to warn her and the other symbiotes living there and the inhabitants of Earth that Null is back. Well, actually, not that Null is back per se, but that the
Null is coming.
The Null is coming because Captain Alliance knows Hela's in charge of, you know, the Void, the symbiotes now. Remember, he tapped into the hive mind when he was being attacked in Venom 250, like the only really good part of Venom 250. But so he's running to Earth. He wanted to meet specifically with Venom because he's heard all the tales that Venom sent out, like he was able to beat Null, he was able to send him back. And MJ goes, here's the deal, or here's the problem. I want to help you, but Venom's not one thing. Like, she has to kind of explain, like, Venom is a cohabitation, and the last host was Eddie Brock, and that was the guy who kind of did all this, right? And she's like, and he's in prison now, and I'm just kind of here. And so Captain Alliance is like, well, shit,
I do like that she wasn't immediately like, oh yeah, you're here for Venom because Venom did that. Sure, I can do that, right? She immediately, I mean, this is because Al Ewing is a good writer, and he doesn't treat MJ like some cheap girl boss, right?
No.
He treats MJ Venom as a character, an actual character who is still learning, still growing. And I think the best is yet to come based on what we've seen. And he accurately, I think, and correctly has her kind of be like, just as you said, that that's cool and all, but that was the other guy actually that did that. Like, that wasn't me. I can't take credit for that, right? That was somebody else who did that.
That's one of the things I like about Lois and MJ and various other love interests throughout the years, but mainly those two, like those are the archetype, are that writers do remember. Even Tom King, you know, like amazingly, credit where credit was due in the Superman, Spider-Man crossover issue.
Oh, in the crossover, yeah.
But writers really understand that, like, those two women, their partners, they're going to get exposed to danger and weirdness and over, like, imagine, I guess what I'm getting at is, like, MJ would, this is weird for her to have an alien, like, walk through her door and go, I'm here for Venom. Sure. She used to be married to Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, she used to live in Avengers Tower, which is all still in her memory, all still canon, even though the marriage wasn't. So I like that, you know, like you said, instead of just, you know, biting or lashing out or going like, I know everything, she, like, lets him in, but she suited up, right? So she's like, let's be cautious, let's hear him out. So, like you said, and like we've said every time we talk about this book, the MJ Venom dynamic is awesome. And if Al keeps on the trajectory he's been on, it's going to pay off so well before it goes back to status quo. Don't worry, Clone Geek. I know you're out there, buddy. It will go back to status quo. But
don't worry about people who like the House of Status Quo. It will eventually all circle back around, and Eddie Brock will be Venom one day again. But honestly, after
I'm loving this.
How, especially the last few issues, how Al Ewing's been handling it, especially now that they're in full synchro mode, like, I'm okay with it lasting a little longer than I initially expected it to, as long as Al keeps the writing at this same level.
It reminds me a lot of how I felt, or like how I feel, because I agree with you, and that feeling reminds me a lot of how I felt when Mac Gargan got the symbiote, right? Where I was like, you're doing evil symbiotes and, like, having one of them under, like, government control, and you're not going to use Eddie. Like, the layup is right there. But then, you know, as everybody, you know, Bendis and Hickman and everybody started writing a good story with that concept, I was like, I'm cool with this. I know we'll get Scorpion back and we'll get Venom back eventually, but you know me, like, I bring it up all the time where I go, like, I like Matt Gargan Venom. So I don't know, when a story is good, you know what I mean? Like, you can lock onto it and you want it to hang around. You just want to see more of it. And you and I definitely want to see more of MJ Venom because it's working for now. Of course, there exists the possibility that something shits the bed, either slightly or super hard, whether that's Al or Marvel or whatever, right? Like, not even related to current events, but, like, if there's a world war and it blows up, like, Marvel published, like, the printing presses or something, right? Like, and they have to cut down the issue count. Barring any, like, there just exists that possibility, guys. So, of course, Andrew and I know that exists, but we have no reason to sort of approach every issue or even the concept as, like, this is bad and will fail, because then, of course, it will, because we're wanting it to. We're going to look at it with every angle for it to fail. But instead, we went, all right, Al, show us what you can do. Show us what you got. And he's showing us that there's a lot of fun to be had in this concept, especially with the fact that we just got to them fully bonding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just last issue. That was like the
last issue.
The climax of last issue.
Which I still hate the gold nails, but I'm so torn, Andrew, because it's me and, like, yeah, normal MJ, like, the standard suit has, like, the monster mouth, which, like, I like on as a design thing, but she looks so much more, like, sleek and, like, femme fatale, in charge, like, boss mode with, like, her face covered, right? Like,
I like the idea of being able to do both, just depending on, like, her emotions in the moment, or, you know, what's going on in the given scene, because I think visually both can be very effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just depending on how you use them.
It's true, and it just makes me curious that, or, like, wonder why they keep presenting the mouth open Venom as, like, her standard look, instead of sort of like the oh, this is a moment of emergency, or she's powering up sort of look, where I'd be totally fine with that. But then it's just all the covers, all the promo art is that. And I think the mouth with the open hair, too much for me. But when you, and like, I look at this and I go, okay, I can do the open hair, right? I don't generally like it, but I can do it. It works here. Like if this was Jessica Drew or Julia. My issue here though, Andrew, and I don't know if this popped up to you, you're like, MJ is just giving away who the fuck is under the suit though. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's true.
Bold red hair that she leaves in the same styling.
Oh yeah.
It's kind like everybody in their if they met Spider-Man once at a Christmas party, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I bet I know who that is. So I'm just like,
oh, it's true. Yeah. Or especially anybody in the superhero community, right?
Right. That's especially what I mean. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like sometimes I allow myself to say, well, you know, comics. And just be like, it's cool and I like it. You know me, I love the open hair thing, right?
And I'm, you know, I'm there with you. It's just like in these moments is when I would appreciate I would prefer to have it's comic books. I don't got it. Like it's Speed Force, right? Like,
yeah, Speed Magic.
Right. Like I've always loved that explanation where the reason Wally and everybody can run through walls is because they're vibrating so fast and moving so fast that they like move the molecules as they're like they're physically moving it and putting it back as they're running through. And there is no scientific basis for that. It's complete comic book horseshit. Does not work like that.
That's not how molecules and atoms work at all.
Not how it works. But it works for comic books, right? It's that simple explanation, just like you got bit by a radioactive spider. Cool, done. Yeah. We can move on. So it's like if you'd have said something like, yes, I have red hair, but in reality it's actually like moving all the time so nobody can really like tag it or something, just some little bullshit, I would have been like, okay, cool, we're good. But it's just the fact that she's like, I'm trying to keep everything secret, hair out. And I'm just like, girl, there's only like 3 redheads in Marvel and you don't have psychic powers, so I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna know. But as I said,
fire powers,
or fire. I don't even know where she is.
Like
nowadays.
Firestar.
Yeah, Firestar.
Yeah, I have no idea where Firestar is.
She was on the West Coast Avengers, like that Duggan, the Gary Dugan recent run they did. The one
Didn't
with, like,
she have like a brief, like 1 page or 1 panel appearance during Venom Lore in one of the tie-in issues?
But I think she just is doing her thing, like she's just exploding, and they're like, "Oh, it works!" Yeah. Like she's helping fight back.
Yay,
somewhere,
fire!
Which is like, at the very least, like I'm glad you acknowledged it, right? Like that she exists. But as Captain Alliance is explaining this to MJ, and MJ goes, "Oh, that was actually this guy named Eddie Brock, and not me." Captain Alliance goes, "Well, are there any other Brocks around that can sort of, use that symbiotic relationship to the Hive to help us out here and stop Hela?" And of course, there is one. It's Dylan. So we check back in on Dylan, who is obviously having a hard time. He just saw his, like, surrogate father, yes, but also like
surrogate father who he hated.
But like, my
Dylan has
here,
grown enough as a person to recognize
here,
that somebody being dead is just like,
right. Well, my caution here, or like where I'm stumbling on Paul is like that whole element where like Eddie didn't act like his dad, and they didn't know that, like, Dylan didn't know that Eddie was his dad for like the first 4 years of their relationship. Yeah. So they didn't have that dynamic growing up. But he has a father. But honestly, guys, again, don't have to like the character, but what Al Ewing did, being a good writer, Paul, like, he made Paul essentially the only real father Dylan's ever had, like, for better or worse. So like and that's what, he's trying to move past seeing the only person who ever actually like stood up to him too, right? Like MJ would tell Dylan to like stop, but it's, now that I think about it, it's very much that like dad mom dynamic where MJ's like, we calm down, like we'll talk to him, we'll work it through, but Paul's like, we've talking about everything. You're coddling him, like you need to tell him to stop being an asshole, right? And sometimes you need one touch, sometimes you need the other, but it all comes together and it makes a good kid like we got out of Dylan. to varying degrees. Don't take that as like an endorsement of parenting. I know that if I ever ran for office, I'm going to get in trouble. But as Dylan is trying to adjust to this new reality, the horrors of seeing Paul get, stabbed through the chest, he gets a visit from Sleeper, who, if you guys remember, there was that whole plot thread where all the symbiotes came out to distract Dr. Octopus and Scar from capturing Venom proper, because if Venom proper got, captured and they found it was MJ, everything blows up. Flashes like special clearance in the program, because they would go, oh, you willingly abetted them. Sleeper and Toxin and Rick Jones, like all of them would be jail immediately, if not killed. But we now see Sleeper for the first time since everybody escaped. He comes to Dylan and basically says, what is he doing? I forget. He's kind of checking in on Dylan. He's the first real person who's been like, hey, how are you? Right? Like, outside of MJ. He's which is different, because like that's your mom. And if you're going to tell a different thing to your mom than your friend. And so he's, just checking in on Venom or on Dylan, seeing what's up. And then he says, it's just a recap, I guess, of everything that's recently happened as we're going to launch into Queen in Black. That's what this feels. This feels like that. It's not going to be the first issue, because you probably have to have like Venom 250. But this feels like that you open the omnibus and this is that get you caught up to speed before we really launch into everything. Yeah. Segment. But then, Sleeper says, hey, I want to show you something. Let me bond with you. They bond together. And with that, they go to stop, or not stop necessarily, but our favorite, Rick Jones Toxin. What was the name he gave himself? Was it Captain Symbiote?
Captain Spider or something like that. Or
like Captain Toxin or something. Oh no, that was Agent Antitoxin. So whatever. Yeah. Rick is still bonded with Toxin. They're trying to do the hero thing, but we're still seeing that issue Andrew and I always bring up, where Toxin is kind of unstable. He's not really, he doesn't lock. It's kind of like almost like a little bit of dementia, right? Like he'll call Rick Pat, and he'll say villain names that they're not fighting, and he's slightly off kilter. And Rick, is like us, and he admits, he's being a little rocky, but for the most part, it works. And that's where Sleeper and Dylan come in, and Sleeper's basically going, you can't, you're not working out.
You're really bad at this.
Yeah, you're really, really bad at being a symbiote hero. And I really
sorry, brother, you're not cut out for this symbiote thing.
And honestly, I really like this little bit that we get here, because Dylan and Sleeper go, yeah, Rick, you gotta not bond with Toxin. Not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just this isn't the right fit, right? And Rick goes, what are you talking about? I'm doing great, and if anybody's gonna know how to cohabitate with a superpowered being or whatever, it's me. Because I used to do this shit with Captain Marvel, where I used to clack the negabands, and I'd go to the negative zone, and he would come to Earth, yada yada yada, clack back, fun little dynamic, right? Then he did it with Genus Vel, and then he brings up that he's also been a Hulk, so he knows how to deal with all this. But he then realizes, what does he say?
Symbiotes are a whole other.
Well, now that I think, because he says, Dylan asked him, he's like, so you and Genus Vel, how, what's your relationship like now? And he's like, well, we're kind of still friends. We really butted heads. It was rough, because he was really aggressive and destructive, and there's only so much you can do. And Rick realizes, as Andrew noted, he's like, wait, this isn't good for a symbiote, especially, what does he say? Now that I think about it, maybe not the best background to build a safe space for an alien goo with rejection sensitivity, right? And I was like, that's pretty good. Yep. Again, the concept, I know we even use it, safe space in mockery. Doesn't always have to be a mock concept, right? It could be genuinely hey, we're trying to invite somebody in that we love and make it safe for them to come in. And Rick's going, oh, I can't do that for a symbiote, because I am too combative. I am too judgmental. I am too I'm too Rick Jones to be like a proper symbiotic like partnership with somebody. So they give it up, or Rick goes, all right, it's probably best for me to give it up. And Andrew, this is what you called. Like
I called this months ago.
Crazy. I believe what were our predictions for you? It was it was Dylan bonds with Toxin, and then for me it was Toxin bonds with Paul out of like fear, and they kind of go on a rampage. So thank God Andrew kind of won out on this one, even though I'll admit it would have been interesting to see that.
It could have been interesting
because it's Al Ewing.
If
it wasn't good writing for the rest of everything, I wouldn't have trusted him with that story. But we get what do we even call this form?
I don't know. Like,
what was he a king? And was he the king in black?
He was like very briefly, technically.
But then it's like, we don't call Eddie the king in black all the time, even though both him and Venom.
We don't.
So it's like, he's Dylan, I guess, for now.
Yeah, he's just Dylan.
But I did laugh at, like, obviously Toxin was made with this in mind, but then now with Dylan putting on, it's like, oh, look, the spider color scheme. You guys found a way to make another spider colored hero. It's not a bad thing.
Look at that. Yeah.
It's not a bad. I'm going like, you cheeky dogs. But then I genuinely liked this scene a lot. We round down the issue, and we have MJ coming to somebody, and she's like, I need to privately talk to you, and I didn't know how to talk to you about this, but I need your help. I'm Venom. Null is coming. I'm sorry, but I need your help. And it feels, or it seems, like she's talking to Peter, or maybe an Eddie, or somebody like that. And then you turn the page, and it's
Tony.
Tony, which, remember, as much as we don't like it,
the Queen in Black thing,
right?
As well,
and as much as we didn't like it because it's part of that, get Peter and MJ as far apart as possible. But this was from when Bendis had her go work for Tony, which that whole Peter Parker, we hate him element taken out. I thought it was kind of a very fun turn, and they used her really, 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 really well. So I was like, oh, that's really cool that she still has like a direct line sort of to like talk to Tony, and Tony doesn't even blink, right? He's like, you're rehired, you're Stark Industries, what are we doing? And I'm like, oh, here we go,
I find
baby.
funny,
here
and this was
go.
completely unnecessary too. Like, you didn't have to have Tony in the suit here, but I have a feeling, and this just might be me shooting this out here in the dark, but I have a feeling that Al Ewing didn't specify to have Tony in the suit, but Carlos Gomez was just like, screw it, I want to draw Iron Man. And so he drew him in the suit.
I'd much rather draw this than like a guy
if I
in
could
a
draw
suit.
like Carlos Gomez,
well, yeah,
sure. I mean, when I wasn't busy drawing the hottest MJ and interiors ever.
He took a break in this issue, right? He's like, I'm gonna put it towards mecha energy instead of horny energy for this one issue. But don't worry, we'll get back.
You guys
to
get
it.
one.
Yeah, you get one. But man, to be continued in Queen in Black #1. I know you and I have been gushing for ages about how excited we are. I had one of those moments where I like had it really dawn on me how excited I am when I was playing Marvel Rivals the other day, and I was just going through everybody's stuff, clicking off notifications and alerts or whatever. Went to Hela, saw that she has I forgot she has a Queen in Black skin in that game, and it was a whole big part of the story. And so I just looked at her stuff, and I was just like, fuck, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. Please be good, and please, I don't, even though it's so easy to go that way, I don't want this to go another Venom War route, right? Where everybody's getting symbioted or symbioted.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't.
I'd rather this just
because then it would feel derivative of the last event, right?
Of the last several, right? Like Absolute Carnage, this,
That's true, too.
that scene in Mighty Avengers 20 years ago where I forget who it is, but they released a symbiote bomb on New York, and it just starts raining down goo, and everybody starts getting happens too much. Like you said, I think it would devalue it. If you're gonna have a massive symbiotes, I think you just have Hela I'm not, because remember, they're not necessarily. Oh no, damn it, Andrew, damn it. Because I was gonna say, remember, they're not necessarily coming to Earth to for Earth, because remember it was like Noel's gonna go fight Hela or something like that. They were just using it as the battleground. But then I remember there's that ending bit where what's his name? Thor's brother, who I can never is it Balder?
Balder?
I don't. Is it like Hela's assistant guy? Like
Yeah.
It's Balder, I think. Yeah.
Pretty sure that's Balder.
Okay. Yeah, where Balder's like, well, if you want a surefire way to beat him, we go here, right? And they're going to Earth, and I'm like, they're gonna try that shit again. So I don't know. We'll see. Faith in Al. He hasn't really done us wrong thus far. But we spent a little time on Venom. Andrew, I know you got to get out of here like right now, don't you? Or like
About
very
25, 30 minutes tops.
25, 30 minutes tops. All right. So with that, what was the other book that we were going to hit?
The other book was, at least for this week, Batman.
Yeah.
So we could do that. So I think we probably only have time for hitting one other thing. So we could hit either Batman, we could quick hit Superman, or we could talk Supergirl.
Let's save Superman for sure. I think we talk Supergirl. I already have Batman up here. Is there anything major you wanted to say about this issue?
Beyond the fact that it realigned me back to being interested, because the last one or two issues, I was just kind of like, okay.
Yes. But now...
But it got interesting again. And not just because they added the niece of Alfred.
Of Alfred. Yeah. The
so I'm
new
curious
Wayne
to
Butler.
see where they go with that.
I'm... Here's how I feel about it. I'm excited because obviously a new Jorge Jimenez drawn woman. We can never complain about that.
Nope.
There's a fine line you go through between like super cool equipped, like special forces, trained by the League of Assassins, equipped to deal with any situation, like Alfred Butler, and just like annoying girl boss Butler, right? Like
Yeah.
And given that we know that that's what they're doing with this, what's her name? Verity Pennyworth. Like, she is supposed to be super, like, skilled and trained
Very
and
competent.
ready.
Yeah,
competent's the right word. It could go either way. And I am going to give Fraction the benefit of the doubt because, like you said, yeah, it got a little shaky, but he pulled us back in. He's proving himself. It's everybody else, right? It's the Tamakis. It's the Eve Ewings. It's the... I don't even know who else is writing bullshit over the Tom King. I just know Dan Slott and Mark Waid. Like those are and Fraction. Like there's only 3 people. The Absolute Team is the Absolute Team. They don't sully their hands anymore with Prime Earth. But alrighty, with that, let's get into Supergirl. And obviously, guys, we will talk much more about this issue. Or we'll link back to this issue when the next one drops. Whenever there's relevant things for Batman.
Yeah.
It's just the
beautiful
time
Jorge Jimenez art.
Yeah, sadly we have the tightest of time crunches today. So let me just pull up something for us to a good graphic for all of us to look at while we talk about this, I guess, rather than watching the trailer 900 times over and over and over again. Bum bum bum. Do 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 do. Did you get the cup, Andrew, when you went?
No.
You didn't get the Supergirl foreskin cup?
I passed on that.
Unfortunate. But guys, all right. It is time. Obviously, last week we did not have a show, and that was because Andrew and I both went out to catch a screening of Supergirl. We wanted to come and do a post, right out of theater review. It was super late, and then our schedules were super slammed for the rest of the weekend. So, sorry about the delay, but you get it now. An intellectually honest review, genuine, meeting the movie where it's at review of. Everybody keeps calling it James Gunn's Supergirl, but it's Craig Gillespie's Supergirl.
I was gonna say James Gunn didn't write it or direct it.
And honestly, that's a point I'm going to bring up as we get into this, because it kind of links to a whole thesis I have about what's going on here. So, at the start, Andrew, why don't you hit us with your general overarching thoughts about things?
Supergirl.
Because
I don't know if
this is your girl, Kara. As you all know, foil variant readers, watchers, Supergirl is Andrew's girl. It unfortunately sucked. Like, he bought all those Art Germ covers for for a less than stellar Sophie Campbell series. He's got that
don't
beautiful. Wait, bring it back up.
Oh,
The Turner.
yeah, the artist gallery edition of
So
the
good.
Superman, Batman, Return of Supergirl arc, oversized, absolutely gorgeous. I have this arc in multiple different trade sets. I have the individual issues. I have the individual
Again, it's like
signed
poetry.
that
They
have
rhyme.
issues.
Three stanza kind
Wait,
of
hold on,
rhymes.
hold on,
The
hold on.
last one. Hopefully
George
it'll work.
Lucas is going on.
Again, it's like
Wow, that was weird. Okay, don't know what was up with that.
No, right, but I've got the individual
This is starting to sound like
issues.
a
I have the
bad
individual
comic
issues
book
signed.
plot.
I have the
Gets
individual
worse.
issues digitally. Like actually having purchased them on Comixology. I have that story in so many different formats. Plus, I have the entire run in trade of her solo series that followed. I'm a big Supergirl fan. I don't know if there were many people out there that wanted to love this movie as much as I did.
Wanted
didn't
to
love
love
it.
it is the
That's
is
the
the
operative.
word here. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
Andrew-
didn't love it.
which is unfortunate. So yeah, just to set the stage, as you guys know, if you're a longtime viewer or a long-term reader of Bounding when I was still writing over there, or you just follow us on social media, you'll know that Andrew and I, as our tagline says, we try to approach everything intellectually honestly, which means sure, there might be something we don't like, there might be something that doesn't vibe with us, but we go, all right, put our personal thing aside and try to just see what is this as a piece of art or a production. So we both went into this movie. I would actually say both of us, to varying extents, wanted it to be good, because you wanted it to be good because it's your girl. It's Supergirl, Kara. You've been waiting for another shot at this since 1985 or 2019 when we last got the CW show, which season 1 still good. That's why
Season 1's still a ton of fun.
That's why I have it up. But
Yeah.
and then I wanted it to be good because I want the DCU to be good. Like we loved Superman, and we both went, that's our Clark, that's our guy. Let's let this keep going. So I wanted this to be good because, one time is a fluke, 2 times you start proving that you've actually got a plan and you know what you're doing. And so I wanted it to succeed for that. And to be honest, I wanted it to succeed because I'm fucking tired of the people who make genuine videos with, bearing titles like our stream title tonight. Our stream title tonight is completely ironic, right?
It's
because
completely out of irony.
I asked Andrew, I said, what's the most, dumb, clickbaity title I could give it? And I sent him that one, and he said, I need to take a shower after reading it. And I went, that's the one. Because we saw too many people out there reacting to this movie, wanting it to fail, it's very obvious, or let me obviously push back on this, and maybe you have a different read of it, but I feel like in recent years, the idea of let's just keep haranguing the same one nerd thing over and over and make that our main battleground, I think a lot of people are tired of it, right? Even if they still hate what is coming out, they're just I don't want. What more can you fucking say about the Acolyte?
Well, because, and not only that, but guys, things don't have to be woke to be bad.
Exactly.
Sometimes things are just bad. Sometimes things just miss the mark. Sometimes they just whiff on a number of levels. And unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's been that way for decades, right? There were a lot of people glorify the 90s in comic books, right? And a lot of those people didn't actually read comic books in the 90s. They just know that characters were very frequently hyper idealized in terms of how they were drawn, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I loved 90s comic books. I love Witchblade, right? That's one of my all-time favorite books.
J. Scott Campbell's a foil variant stamped approved artist.
Yeah,
over
he's
here,
practically our mascot artist here, right? But the fact of the matter is the 90s was filled with a ton of comics that just sucked. They were awful. Whether they were from one of the big two, or they were from Image, or anybody else, there were a bunch of books that were just bad. And it's not like bad comics or bad media cropped up just in the 2010s
No.
when things were like the super hyper social justice, woke content. That was the message, right? That was what was getting pushed in all of our media everywhere. It's not like bad media suddenly appeared overnight when the 2010s hit, and that was the
It just
message
took
that was
on
getting
a flavor. Like it took
right.
on
Yeah,
that
it
flavor.
took on a very specific socio-political flavor, but it was also just bad, right? So you can have media that maybe even has some of those things in it that maybe you disagree with for one reason or another, but the piece of media overall itself is still a good piece of media.
And it's also just, it's disingenuous to try and, because what I saw a lot of was, and you did too, because we talked about it, was like the title says, Supergirl's the new Captain Marvel. Everybody wanted Millie Alcock to be the Brie Larson. Like, everybody's trying to go back to that cow.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Well, and that's... People are trying to go back to that former cash cow. And I say former because Brie Larson has been... just kind of been around and, like, doing her thing. And, completely inoffensive. And just, like...
She did, like, what we all kind of asked, right? Like, stop doing, like, very base-level, reactionary, like, takes. And she did.
Be an actress.
And yet you still had people, like, for example, when Mario came out and she was voicing Rosalina, I saw lots of people trying to go, oh, God, it's the Captain Marvel again. But
like, Rosalina's going to be a girl boss.
But most people just went like, okay, it's Brie. I'm up for it. Like, it's
whatever.
Mario.
Yeah.
So, like, I think, how do I, like, we spent so many years, and you and I were in that sphere as well, calling out this stuff and getting sick of it and getting one bad production after another, that I think finally we've hit the saturation point where more people have accepted that, like, there's no point in fighting about it. Like, I think about this all the time. Like, I cannot imagine still carrying, like, being 36 as I am, or 40 or whatever, and still waking up every morning going, how did Star Wars shit the bed? Like, I need to, like, shit, like, what did they... I just can't imagine it. I don't care. There's no reason to do it outside of this weird... Like everybody knows it's bad. You're not impressing anyone anymore by going, like, it's bad. Like, we know.
You know what we just choose not to do? We choose not to waste our energy and time on it anymore. Like, the next time I will give any energy or time out of my life to Star Wars will be when Respawn Entertainment announces the end of the trilogy for Cal Kestis.
See, I'll give it back to that new Pod Racer game that's coming out. I'm really excited.
No.
I'm really excited for that.
That looks really good. That looks really genuinely
I loved
awesome.
the N64 one. Like,
Yes, I agree. I completely forgot about that.
When I was a kid, obviously, I think, like I told you all, like, I grew up really poor, but my mom managed to get, like, one of her friends hooked her up with, like, a Costco, like, card, and she got to go in, and we bought she got me an N64 for my birthday for like $100, and it had a game. One game, and it was Pod Racer. And so I played that thing religiously. So, like, if this game, like, is bad, it might be just the point where I just go, okay, I don't want my Star Wars stuff anymore, right? Like, just take my action figures.
That's a foundational, like, part of the Star Wars universe for you, right?
It'd be like going back to watch E.T. in theaters and seeing all the guns replaced with walkie-talkies. It's just like, oh man, I don't want to be here anymore. But
yeah, make it stop, please.
So the Captain Marvel of it aside, even being intellectually honest here, the unfortunate verdict, I think, is that it's not a good movie. It's a very bad movie.
At best, you could call it an aggressively mixed bag, but at the end of the day, it's not a good movie. To your point right there, calling it a mixed bag, it's because it's not necessarily bad, right? Like I didn't find anything in the movie that was like, there are a couple things where I was like, really? Like, that's what you're doing? But, you know, it's still... We've got green suns now, bro.
The green suns...
The green sun made me want to flip
Kara's
the line of shirts. Or
dude,
shirts
yeah, there's
chairs in front of me.
There's a movie. There is a movie here. And if you took away the Supergirl branding and you just said, this is a... Fuck it. Like, it's a Youngblood movie. right? I think everybody would go, it's fine.
Okay, sure,
right?
why
Like
not?
it's fine. But I think the problem here is, and this is what I've been telling you, this movie feels far too late. Like this movie feels like as I got out of my viewing and I messaged you, I told you, like, it feels like this was written at peak Whedonism. Like, and I that's one of my main issues with this movie is Kara, right? Not necessarily her personality, like, or her characterization, because like I said when we were talking about the trailers and stuff, I was very open to her being, you know, a more modern 21-year-old.
I mean,
right?
You and I both knew we weren't getting this Kara.
We weren't getting that Kara. We weren't getting
this was not the Kara we were getting. We weren't getting the Kara from Smallville. Even.
Or right. You know, the curly-haired one who pops out of her rocket in the Silver Age and is like, oh, hello, right? Like, we knew that wasn't coming.
Hi, your cousin from Krypton.
Right. Yeah, I think of that image all the time. But you, like, for you it was harder because you were more attached to all these depictions, and to be fair, the party girl element is a slight deviation from what we would have thought of Supergirl, right? Like, so for you it was a little harder to swallow, but you still were like, we're good. Like, let Gunn cook, right? Like, he did really, really well with Superman, which as the months go on, like, I just keep locking into, like, I love that movie. Like, Spider-Man 2 loved that movie. Like, it is
and
so
the Superman moments in this movie are some of the best moments in the movie too.
They absolutely, like, they are and they aren't. Well, I think we talked about this, but we'll talk about it again. So, what was I? Damn it! What was I saying before you made me think of how awful that is? But
Kara's characterization.
Yeah, like,
and how the problem you had wasn't necessarily Kara's personality.
It was, she kept delivering one-liners, right?
Yeah.
Very generic action movie or like outlaw Guardians of the Galaxy lines, which I would have been okay with. So for those who have seen the movie, who haven't, whatever, there's a scene, or there's a bit later on where Kara finally sort of breaks and she stops trying to, like, she just has that moment where she's like, fuck it. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to, like, tear a warpath to go find Krem. And that was my favorite bit of the movie because we saw, like, Kara was acting like this action heroine, but we could see, oh, she's clearly, like, this is not going to work out for her. Like, this is bad. And lo and behold, she gets captured and sent to the Green Sun planet. The problem is, throughout the rest of the movie, she's talking like that, and it's taken like it's supposed to be super cool and hit right. And that's where I'm like, again, if you made this movie in 2009, 2011, at the heat, like the peak of Whedonism, this movie would have done gangbusters.
Yeah.
But you do this now,
2026,
it just feels outdated.
Yeah.
You know, like, the most, to like really see how outdated this feels in 2026, at the end of the movie, in the final needle drop, we have a shot where Kara flies up with a, like, part of a ship, like a container, and she's flying up and she looks to the camera and she, like, smiles and smirks like, oh yeah, I'm Supergirl. And that was, I just looked at that and I went, what the hell are we doing? Like,
yeah, Kara's not a fourth wall character, guys.
Kara's not a fourth wall character. Nothing in this movie was about, like, girl power, you're telling me I can't do it, like, which again I would have hated as a message, but that would have made that action make sense, right? Like, take that, boy. It just, I didn't get it. I just had no idea why here at the like 11th minute, the final hour, you decide to throw in this weird smirk at the audience. You know what I mean? Like, it just, this movie is very confused. And I think this is what I was going to say and bring up because, you know, when we were joking about, everybody says it's a James Gunn movie. No, it's Craig Gillespie. This, to me, this movie really shows that not everybody can do what James Gunn can do. James Gunn has a very specific eye for how to do every single needle drop, every single action shot, every single group dynamic, who gets to talk, who gets set up.
And it worked in Superman, because this movie tries to replicate the humor of Superman without the same quality of dialogue.
Yes.
And execution of Superman. And that's saying something, because I don't, and I've said this before, I don't normally like James Gunn outside of the Guardians films, and really mostly the first one. Like, there are only 2 James Gunn movies that I can say I genuinely love: Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and Superman. I like things about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I like things about Guardians Volume 3. I
barely like anything about Volume 2. Like,
that's my least favorite.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite of the 3, easily. Because it's the least memorable, right? None of it matters.
At the time, I was like, okay, ego and all this, like, this could matter. It could be cool. And then they just fired James
and they did
Gunn,
what they did.
And so...
But yeah, that's the thing, like, because he was setting up Adam Warlock and all that stuff in that movie, right? And if they had kept him on and paid that off much sooner, then we probably would have had Adam Warlock during Infinity War and Endgame, and that would have really changed the dynamic there. But, like, I hate his Suicide Squad film.
Yes, you
I don't like his stuff ordinarily, but I love Superman, right? And this movie tries to do some of the things that worked well in that movie, but it doesn't land in this movie. The execution, the script is not there.
Like, for example,
most of the actors did a really good job in their performances.
I really
of
don't
what
have
they were
any
given.
qualms with the actors. Like, I think they all did what they could.
Even Krem, who is on paper kind of a forgettable villain.
Yeah, he's
right.
Not
There's
a villain.
not much there to work with, but that actor was like, he was
hamming
trying,
it up.
man.
He was trying really hard with what he had. Same with
which was
Momoa.
Almost nothing to work with.
You could feel Millie was trying, but also, like, I think she might have also recognized, like, this is not great, or because I don't know, like, everybody did good with what they had, but it's just like you said,
their performance.
What they had,
her performance was stronger than Bree's as Carol in the Captain Marvel movie.
See, I agree with that.
But that movie still had more to work with, and gosh, praising that movie is saying something.
I know.
Overall, as a script, that movie is kind of just fine.
That even even John F. Trent, former editor of Bounding into Chief, now, right-wing Christian nationalistic, like, extremist psycho, he from the jump was like, Captain Marvel is just fine. Like, it's not even the movie that's bad, it's Bree and all the discourse that's coming alongside of it.
Yeah, it was all the chatter that was going on with
right.
Bree at the time.
And the insistence of, like, it was Marvel, right? Going, oh no, you have to like her. She's coming for and it's like, we like Carol. Miss Marvel had 50 issues on her own during an era where nobody reached that anyway. You just got to use it right. You just got to make sure you're executing it right. And to bring it back to this movie, there's the best example of how Gunn can execute this concept, his concepts, and others can't, is the final action scene with that needle drop with Kara, right? It has Ruthie standing in the middle of a bunch of incoming, I just want to call them Ravagers, but they're not Ravagers, they're something. And
it was the oh gosh.
They have a name.
That's how forgettable they are, right?
Right. The pirates or whatever, right? I'm just the Ravagers are surrounding Ruthie and they're coming for her, and Kara has this moment where she shows up, she's in her suit, and she starts just destroying the entire arena. Which is a proper feat that Supergirl could do. However, we focus on Ruthie and we fall. It's a sort of she's turning around and watching Kara, and we're following that 360 camera pan
instead of focusing on the action itself, right? That's a misuse of that scene.
But then you look. An easy example of this is go back to Superman. Lois being trapped in the bubble when Mr. Terrific whoops ass at the Lex camp. We are focusing on Lois, but we saw all that cool shit from Mr. Fantastic as we're focusing on Lois, right? it's just some people have an eye for it, some people don't, and I feel like it was a mistake to try and emulate James Gunn, because you end up coming out with, like, visually this felt very Guardians-y in the sense that everything had like a weird yellow space tint, which is like, okay, that was the the look for Nowhere, and I get that, but even when we saw the Fortress of Solitude or Krypton in Superman, James Gunn went, that we're not gonna put that filter on there, we're gonna have it look like this. But Gillespie goes, alien world, throw on, the Mexico filter or whatever. So, yeah, it's a really messy movie. Oh, and then like there's that joke where Kara, wins the arm wrestling contest, and so then the entire bar wants to fight her, and she goes, "All right, before we get started, like, does anybody want to leave? I'm giving you a chance."
And instead of us actually getting to see like
the
her
action,
whooping all that ass, we just focus on Ruthie like cowering in the corner. It's like
and we see like a couple guys like get thrown.
Yeah, if this was like the early 2010s or something like that, we'd be like, oh, haha, yeah, that's kind of funny, right? But it's not.
But like that joke has been done so much to the point where like we all joke now about how, oh, you get a Marvel movie and you can't see what's happening, right? So like, it just it's an odd. Everything feels late. Everything feels late. And it feels like there's no cohesive direction in where they wanted to go with this movie. There's parts of it where they go, we want to just make a safe, easy space action movie. Then there's parts where they go, we want to do a rough and tumble Western. And then there's parts where they go, we want to do a really deep family drama. And then there's parts where they go, we want to have like a girl boss action thing. And it's bizarre to me that we got what we got, especially with James Gunn being, the overall producer of this. I don't know if you saw the interview, but, and I know you got to get out of here in a second, but I feel like this is how we should end cap this. There was an interview by Craig Gillespie and Anna like Nogura, whoever wrote like the script.
The script writer, yeah.
So if you guys remember, Gillespie came out like a couple weeks ago and said, "Oh, I didn't read Woman of Tomorrow before I did the movie. I just took Anne's script, I did it all on Anne's script, and then I went in and I read the comic and I added flavorings." And we went, oh, okay, you're going to maybe not be Woman of Tomorrow. And to his credit, this movie was not Woman of Tomorrow. But now it leaves me in a very weird spot because Gillespie and Anna came out in a new interview, and basically Gillespie goes, well, because at the end of this movie, guys, Kara stabs Krem. She kills Krem. She lets Ruthie go.
After spending an hour and a half of telling Ruthie that like she shouldn't, commit acts of murder out of
wanton revenge or violence, right? Like, I don't want it to haunt her. Yeah. She stabs him and leaves him to die, and he dies. Gillespie gives an interview, and he goes, oh, yeah, when I read the end of, him and Nogura were like, yeah, when I read the end of Woman of Tomorrow, Ruthie kills Krem. And so I went, I don't want Ruthie to have to suffer that. I'm going to give it to Kara. That's not what happens at the end of Woman of Tomorrow. Like, again, I'm not here to say it's a good story.
Yeah.
But it's not even a good adaptation of that story. So, like, we didn't get a good set dressing use of it, right? Like a good movie that uses its set dressing. And then, like, anybody who really, really liked that story, they didn't get a faithful adaptation of that. But how does that happen, Andrew? It's like that the ending of this, they misread the ending so hard and nobody catches it. Like this isn't somebody writing a script for a comic book and it just goes through one editor and it goes out. Like, James Gunn had to see this, Peter Safran, everybody. And nobody said, hey, wait a sec. Tom King, the guy who fucking wrote this, had to, like, he's pivotal in the development of the DCU, and he never said, hey, wait a second, that's not how my story ended. So, yeah, it's a mess of a movie. And then the final point before we get you out of here is just what you said about the Superman parts, right? Like, David Corenswet, he's great. Love him to death.
Oh, yeah.
perfect encapsulation of Superman. Even that little bit where he was like trying to talk to Kara when she lands, I genuinely had a good laugh when he's like,
honestly,
he's like, "Hi, I'm
probably my favorite
Kryptonia.
part of the movie.
Why am I talking louder?" Right? Like it was so innocent, and I was just like,
it felt like very earnest, innocent Clark, and I was like, see, that's my boy.
right? And I was like, that's him. That's awesome. I don't know how you square away fucking stabbing a dude in cold blood and leaving him to die, and then going and sitting on the couch and being like, "Hi, I'm Supergirl again." Like,
Yeah.
it was so jarring because there's like not even an attempt to address it. She kills the guy, goes home, and Superman's there like, "Hey, how was your trip?" And she just goes like, you wouldn't believe it,"
Yeah.
and that's it. And I'm like, dude, she just killed like Superman would not be happy about that. And I literally cannot think of any justification where he'd go, "I don't like it, but it had to be done," like a Phantom Zone thing, right? So I'm just like, So in the second outing, everything is unfortunately, I wouldn't say it's cooked, but we've already sort of introduced the problems that have sunk other comic book universes with mischaracterizations between movies, with a lack of continuity, and a lack of like an overarching vision, which is like, we might hate everything Kevin Feige does now, and for good reason, because nothing has really been good except for Thunderbolts. But I think, like, I see Supergirl, and I go, you got to give the man his due. Like, he pulled off at least the first part of the MCU, right? Which is fucking... They couldn't even keep it consistent between a movie. And so, yeah, it's a bummer. I'm excited to see more.
Again, it's like poetry.
Oh my god, not this again. I don't know why that keeps happening. Get them all out of here. All the video clips, get them out of here. But, guys, I might hang out for a little bit more, say bye to you guys proper, but Andrew has to jet and get his ass out of here. Andrew.
I do.
Let him know what's going on. Say goodbye. Obviously, we have the link pinned for the stream where Andrew is going with the For the Homies podcast. Let it rip.
Guys, go pre-order Arcstream Fall Start #1. Go pre-order on Rip Ascend.
No, shut up. I'll do all that.
Ravens.
I'll do all that.
Oh, okay.
What else do you want to tell them?
Go subscribe to Room of Requirement, please. We've got to go.
I was going to do that too. Just go to your damn stream.
Then I'm getting out of here. Have fun. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. Good night.
All right.
Please go to my other stream.
Yes, we'll see you over there, Andrew. All right, we'll jump over to hang out with me for just a little bit. So yeah, guys, unfortunately, what the hell? Oh, never mind. Sorry, my dogs were going crazy. Unfortunately, Supergirl was a swing and a miss. It's really directionless. It really feels rough. And yeah, just the idea that you can adapt something and completely miss the ending and just completely not get it, and then everybody just says, yeah, no, it's fine, green light. It's very, very bizarre. But I guess before we get out of here, since it's just me and I ain't got anywhere to be, let's I'll go through some of your guys' comments about Supergirl. Johnny Dome says, sad you were disappointed, but others liked it. It's pretty mixed. I think this is still a good start for Supergirl as a character. So, yeah, it is unfortunate that I didn't like it and Andrew didn't like it, because again, we really wanted to. Where I'm hanging up, right, or like getting like a brain freeze here, is that I don't think this movie was a good introduction, like start for her character, but even I thought she had a good start to her character at the end of Superman. You know what I mean? This feels like it was a misfire. I don't think, like I said a second ago, I don't think this necessarily spells the end of the DCU or James Gunn's plans. I don't think we're going to see any sort of major shakeups, regarding production or staffing or writers or yada yada, any of that. I think, as with anything in life, they had a stumble. They can recover in the future with either, other Supergirl movies, Superman movies, other DCU projects, have her cameo, whatever. My problem becomes, because like Andrew said, we've always had bad movies. I was born in the 90s, so I grew up in the era of Ben Affleck's Daredevil or Spider-Man 3 and, X3. So these bad movies have always happened. What they need to be able to do is roll with that. You can just, if DC can go, all right, we didn't hit the mark with that. What did we learn? What do we do going forward? You can recover and you can make things better, right? I'm just super worried now about how, like, for me, if we're talking about the future of the DCU, my big sticking point is what I was mentioning a second ago, is I don't know how you square the idea that, you know, Kara is like, has this close relationship with Clark where she's teaching him but also learning and stuff. I don't know how you square that dynamic away with the fact that she just kills somebody, right? Again, if Superman finds that out, he's not going to be happy. But I have this very worrying feeling, like that's, we're at a precipice here, right? It can go one of two ways. They can either address it and deal with the fallout, and it would be a little messy and it would be rough to get through, but we'd eventually do it, or they can just ignore it, which would be a disaster, right? You can't say, oh, this is our second outing ever, don't worry about that, right? Especially with how confusing it already is, where you go, don't worry about that, but worry about 3 episodes of Peacemaker season 1, right? So I'm still open for it. I still really like Millie Alcock as Kara. She definitely grew on me seeing more of her. It's just, it's the setting, right? As comic book fans, as comic book readers, we're all used to the idea of our favorite characters, even sometimes being written by our favorite writers, being in a really crappy story, or being put in a story that doesn't make a lot of sense for their character. For example, right? Like in the recent Amazing Spider-Man run, they took Peter and they put him in space, which is like, okay, odd arena to put him in, but I guess that's what we're doing now. So, as always, I want to be optimistic. I hope for the best, because I don't have any energy left to waste on just hoping everything is bad. Yeah, Masta says, Krypton barely looked alien. It was just Dubai with concrete instead of metal. Yeah, it didn't feel as like regal or alien as I might have done it. I still really like the Christopher Reeve movie depiction of all like the crystals and the very futuristic city. Honestly, if they'd have gone for some sort of really cool like retro 50s futurist style aesthetic for Krypton and Argo, and, you know, kind of harken back to that Silver Age look and our old ideas, our 1950s ideas of like what space travel and things would be, that could have been pretty real. Like, that could have been super cool. But yeah, as it stands, it's fine. It's whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Clone Geeks here. Hey, buddy. We actually just shouted you out a little while ago, but Clone Geek says, I haven't seen the film, but I think a good take on Kara would be having her be a rather religious person because of how she grew up, just to add a little spice from the Peter David run. I'm actually not against that, except I would say, you know, in the context of the DCU where we are right now, make her like very much a what the hell is like, what's the, like there's a Kryptonian god, and I'm like blanking on his name very, very hard, but have her be a super devoted worshiper of that religion, right? And have her try to square that away with Earth and customs. And I actually, Clone Geek, I think that could have been really, really fun to play with. This is another thing I wanted to bring up, and unfortunately Andrew's not here to, you know, talk to about this, but Clone Geek says, I also don't get why the film wasn't animated, because the comic was held up by the art. That's another thing, is that aside from so it wasn't animated, which is unfortunate, because like you said, Equus Bivley, or Ively Biscuit, I forget how to say her name, she's great. Her art is the best part of that book. There is, as much as I loathe the actual Woman of Tomorrow story, the art is beautiful, to the point where like I will flip through Woman of Tomorrow when I'm researching things and just go like, man, like why did she have to be attached to such a bad story? And so yes, we could have had it animated, because we know that the DCU is fully like locked together with their animated shows, movies, TV shows, video games, yada yada. I understand why we didn't, right? Like, okay, let's give Supergirl a shot. Let's give it a live action movie. To that point, I don't know why they had to make it so colorless. That's what I was saying a little earlier about the way Craig Gillespie shot this. It felt so Guardians of the Galaxy, so Mexico filter. It just took all of the energy and art from that run kind of out of it. I've seen a lot of people making this comparison, and I've been slightly making it, but you'll see what my differentiation here. A lot of people have been going, oh, Supergirl is just a wannabe Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, it's all just, going to nowhere. Oh, it's all just Peter Quill. And I see, where that comparison comes from, because the James Gunn thing, it's space, it's about a ragtag group, yada, 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 yada. However, I personally feel like the Supergirl team was going for their own Star Wars, right? And they wanted like the Mos Eisley Cantina scene, and they just kind of repeated that over and over and over again. So that's why we get a lot of alien shots, a lot of looks at different creatures and stuff, but we don't really explore what it means to be those aliens, or like what role those aliens kind of have here. So and so like what Star Wars did right in communicating that this is a very big, expansive galaxy is that even in A New Hope, we go to a bunch of different locations and see there are Trandoshans here, there are Mon Calamari here, there are all of these things. Like there's one on Yavin, and there's also one on Tatooine. It made the world feel big. Here, we go to a planet, like the opening planet, we go to the space bar, and then we go to like the Ravager's prison. And that's it. So we keep seeing a bunch of new aliens, but it just feels like, hey, look at all the new aliens, instead of really bringing us in and making us feel like this universe is alive, right? I think this movie I think it had all the right intentions. I think we are due for a good, expansive space universe to sort of fill that Star Trek, Star Wars gap, in the sense of there are big worlds out there and so many unknown frontiers and adventures and so many things to be happening at one time. Especially because, like, yeah, Star Wars, for example, is all just on the Skywalkers and whatnot. So, like, I think the opportunity's there, the desire is there. It just didn't get executed right. It just got executed too sloppily. And I mean sloppily in the sense of messy, not like this is just slop. Let's see. Subhuman says, how do you think Tom Taylor will write Verity if he's able to write her? Oh, we're going back. This is a quick question about the Butler, about the Pennyworth Butler from this week's Batman issue. If Tom Taylor writes Verity, Tom Taylor, here's my like easy summation of Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor is a Reddit writer, where he goes for a lot of like millennial, like that just happened kind of like things, soft storytelling that also gets really, it takes like a lot of stands on things that aren't kind of like pivotal to the story. He's messy, and you really can tell that he's writing for approval. Like he's writing this to go, okay, Reddit, like Twitter, what do you think? Ooh, you don't like that? Okay, let me do that. Instead of, just going, here's my work. Okay, I'll take some of your feedback in. Okay, that was correct, but this is what I'm trying to do here. Which, there's no right or wrong way, but there is a right and wrong way where, like, if you want to keep on your vision, you keep on your vision, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I have much more respect for that than somebody who just, obviously, if you're writing an ongoing thing, like a TV show or a comic, you do want to listen to your fans. If they're going, wow, this is completely off base, this completely sucks, you don't want to keep just intentionally fighting with them. That's how you get into the Amazing Spider-Man of it all. The Peter and Mary Jane are separated forever. You do, but you don't want to let them dictate what your vision is, because at that point you're just writing by committee and everything is sanded down to be super safe. And that's what Tom Taylor is. So if we get a Tom Taylor Verity, I very much think he's going to write her slapsticky. Like, she's going to be that kind of butler who's like, oh, Joker is, or like Bane is launching an assault on Wayne Manor, she'll like, open the door and be like, hello, Mr. Bane, like right this way. And as she opens like that, she like pulls her arm around and like slips him up or something. But then when he looks back, she's like, oh no, I just have a glass of champagne. He's going to write her like a Bugs Bunny, which in the grand scheme of things is probably isn't the worst. It won't add anything to her character, but it definitely, hopefully, won't take anything away. Yeah, Clone Geek says, I think Supergirl is just growing pains. I think it is too, and it's growing pains in that sense of James is in charge of an entire universe now, not just his own, pocket of it. Because back at Marvel, he was just in charge of the Guardians thing, so he can be really... He just had to focus there. It didn't really matter what everybody else did. He could just do his own thing. But with this overarching universe he's got going, I think he needs to be a little more editorial and kind of have a little more oversight and go, no, this is the vision of what we're doing. Because with this movie, with Craig Gillespie just kind of trying... with them saying, here, Craig, go off to the races, he's going, okay, I'm doing a James Gunn thing. Let's do it. He tries to emulate James Gunn. But that's not going to work because, like Andrew and I were talking about, it takes a particular eye to pull that off. So ideally what you want is filmmakers to make their vision. You hire a director to direct in their style, but then you have James Gunn going, okay, that's a good shot. That's all great here. Remember to curve it this way. Oh, maybe we can't, oh, Sam Raimi, you're here doing a Dead Man script. Like, this is fantastic. I don't know if we can get super into this twist you want to do where Boston Brand is a mobster or something because it's just too dark for what we're doing, right? Like, that's what you want him to do instead of going like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go do this now. So, yeah, like, it's growing pains. I definitely believe that. This is that moment where I can give them the benefit of the doubt, but what do they do next? Are you able to step up and shift your direction, or are we going to be stuck with you sort of like stamping your feet and going, no, I can do this? You know what I mean? Bum, 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 bum. What else do we got? Well, yeah, Johnny Dome says some people who hated the book actually prefer the movie. And that makes sense because as Andrew and I were saying earlier, from Gillespie's own admission, he really only used Woman of Tomorrow as sort of like a set dressing. Like he didn't read the book before going into it. He read Andagura's script. Then he went back and read it and went in and added, various flavorings. So, like Andrew and I were talking about this after we had seen it. And I was sort of hinting at it, but I probably, rushed over it because we had to get Andrew out of here. But at the, like, what do I say here? It's not a good adaptation of Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow because it really doesn't delve into any of that. Being completely intellectually honest, Woman of Tomorrow is this 12-issue sort of long introspective drama that really gets into the ideas of revenge and killing and what that does to your soul. Metatextually, it's another one of Tom King's infamous, attempts to justify his Blackworks behavior from when he was in the CIA. But the overarching story really gets into like what it would mean for Ruthie, what it means for Kara to exist in this post-Argo world, right? Post-Krypton blowing up world. And honestly, if you wanted to adapt Woman of Tomorrow, like, faithfully, you couldn't do it in a movie. Because it requires too many Game of Thrones-esque, like, sit down and you and I are going to hash something out and have a philosophical discussion. And you need a lot of those. And so I can see why people who didn't like the book didn't like the movie. For me, it's two different cases, right? With the comic book, I don't like it because it's an over-pretentious justification of, war crimes and CIA black work from, or using a character who was completely wrong for it, right? we know Kara has a little bit more of a firebrandy, aggressive streak, but the idea that she willingly sends Krem at the end of the comics into the Phantom Zone and then lets him out after like 10,000 years and goes like, did you learn your lesson? Superman only ever sent the like Zod and what's her name, Uhura, and the other guy, Jax into the Phantom Zone because he had no choice. And anytime Superman brings it up, he goes, I'm still trying to figure out, what do I do? I know it's inhumane to leave somebody trapped in there, but they're war criminals. So I don't like the comic for those reasons. I don't like the movie because it's too... It's trying to do something, but it doesn't want to like fully commit to doing something. So you get this very weird, half-hearted thing. Again, the best way to like look at this movie is that it's Craig Gillespie trying to copy James Gunn. And as we know, a copy of the more you copy something, the more it degrades. And yes, this might be copying directly from the source, but when you copy directly from the source, I mean, any degradation we're going to be able to see, right? So that's why it's not an offensively bad movie. And if it had come out sort of 10 years ago, I think this would have been this would have been a super strong performer. This would have done really, really well. It's just that in terms of superhero media, it's generic. You know what I mean? Like, this movie just feels too generic, from the idea of I'm a hero, but I don't want to be a hero, but I am a hero deep down, and I need to show that to all of you, to I'm a hero, but I still can do what needs to be done. Like, it's just messy. It's generic. You could have swapped out almost any superhero for Kara. It's a bummer. I wanted it to be good. I like her. I like things about the movie. Just as an overall package, I think it missed the mark a little much. Were there any Green Lantern aliens in the background? I don't think so, but I didn't really pay that close of attention. That's something that's interesting. I wonder about that. Nothing caught my eyes specifically, but you never know. You never know. I did notice that, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Elkis Bivley, she made a new print for the Supergirl movie in her art style with all the beautiful colors and everything. And there's an alien that has a really long winding neck and just two eyeballs, and she drew it on there. And there is a species like that in the movie, but unfortunately whatever intern sent her the reference materials sent her an image of an alien from Star Wars. And so I don't know, I just think about that and I was like, oh hey, it's that monster. Let's see. I hope the next guy gives a dang about Supergirl. So that's the thing, is I don't think Gillespie and Gunn and Safran, I don't think they necessarily didn't care, right? I think James Gunn definitely cares, as does Peter Safran. I think Craig Gillespie understood what he was being, maybe not fully being interested with you're the second film in all of this, right? But I think he, at some level, knew okay, this is going to, it's going to be something that's talked about rather than something that fades into the background, whether it's good or bad. And so I think he tried. It's just that he tried to copy James Gunn. And honestly, I know a lot of people, especially after we've seen him do it in pretty much every movie, go, oh, James Gunn's so generic, he'll just put a fight scene and all these characters and yada, yada, yada. And there are some valid complaints there to how often he reuses these tropes, but it's very clear that he has a specific way that he can see it and execute it. That other writers or directors, it's not just something you can walk into and be like, hey, I got this, right? You got to learn it, you got to practice it. And I don't think Craig has that eye. So you have somebody who doesn't have they're not trained to view it the right way, and now they're trying to copy it, and so you're just going to get a lot of fudgy. Imagine if it, put up an image of Supergirl drawn by like Dan Mora. You have two different people who try to draw it. Somebody might be like really professional and draw it really well, and then the other person, even though it's right there for them to see and all the lines are there and all they have to do is copy it, they just can't do it right? Maybe their lines are too thick, or it's one of those things, So again, I don't think this is something to go, oh, let's shit our pants and make this a culture war issue. I don't think it's any of that. I think it was just a swing and a miss and a little behind the times, right? Also, I've been meaning to mention this and I keep forgetting, but there's a really weird moment where, like, when Ruthie meets Kara and Kara's like explaining a little bit about herself to Ruthie, she's like, yeah, I'm Superman's cousin or whatever, and Ruthie's like, what does that mean? Are you like Superman? And Kara goes, oh, you know the whole thing. I see the good in everybody. He sees the good in everybody. I see the truth, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, why is she responding as if that's a very common thing everybody says about her? When in reality, it is one line that you said into the void, right? Like it's a trailer line. And so I was just baffled. That's what I mean. It's like you can see all these little parts that Craig threw in here that just aren't working. They're just not working. Yeah, the Last Jedi character, that was I don't think she traced it, but she obviously used that one as a reference, and it was unfortunate. Masta says, one of the worst superhero movies of all time to me, on par with Eternals and Deadpool and Wolverine. So I didn't hate Deadpool and Wolverine. I think that one, I can recognize it's not a good movie, and like especially in its cinematography and things, I still have a lot of fun with it because I like that concept of like when multiverse is used like that, where you're actually seeing, they thought it was Cap, but it was Johnny because it's that same guy. Like, I like that, not when it's just like, oh, we want a gay Spider-Man, let's bring in gay Spider-Man, multiverse, right? So that's what I mean. I don't think this thing is offensive to the point where I go, what was everybody like? Why did this get greenlit at all? I can see why Supergirl got greenlit. I can see why Craig directed the way he did. It just didn't work. So I can't be as mad as I was at an Eternals, where that's clearly like, why did you guys think a 3-hour darkly lit, silent, like emotion drama was what we needed out of the MCU? Or like, to me, the first Suicide Squad is one of the worst. Like, I don't even call that a movie. It's one of the worst just things I've ever seen, because it's not a movie. It's just like a film written by marketing. You know what I mean? And like, that movie is genuinely offensive to me. This one, there's a lot of stupid shit, and I walk away from it. Like, my initial reaction, like my first thought was like, it wasn't bad, or like it wasn't great. I'm probably not going to watch that one again. You know what I mean? Whereas with, like Eternals, I'm like, dude, never again. Like, waste of my fucking time. Like, if I was walking by the TV on a Sunday afternoon at, like 2 p.m. in the afternoon and FX is on, if Eternals is playing, I'm probably like moving. Like, I'm going to move right on by. If Supergirl was playing, I might stop for a second and like do the dad watch thing, but I'm probably like, I don't know if I need to rewatch this one. Masa says, I hate Suicide Squad, but I don't despise it. See, I do. Like, that to me is like the low bar. Clone Geek says, I want Vincent D'Onofrio to play a Thor variant as a reference to Adventures in Babysitting. I want more gags and jokes like that, right? Like, I know everybody like crapped on it, and I think it's only because it's been overused now, but like the Matt Damon cameo in Thor Dark World, I thought that was clever. I thought that was cool. Or, so like, I'd be up for that. I just feel like when modern comic book movies especially, like, they don't they don't get how you should be using a multiverse. You know what I mean? And the best example of that is, and I complain about it all the time, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where there's that scene where America like punches a hole and then Doc like grabs her and they like fall through it to like escape. I forget what they're running from, but when she does that, they end up like warping through a bunch of different realities. The problem was, instead of doing something where it was like a reality where all the same characters are medieval, or a reality where Johnny Storm got the symbiote instead of Spider-Man, or a reality where Ultron won, they go, this is a goo universe. This is a water universe. And that's boring. We don't want to see that. To me, a multiverse is made up. There are two different ways you can do it, right? You either have like the DC version, which is there are distinct fucking universes and there's a limited amount of them, but they're all significantly different, even if they use a lot of the same characters. That's where you get like Earth 2 with the Justice Society, and then Earth 1 with the Justice League, or the Atomic Knights over on Earth whatever that was. Or you do the Marvel thing, which is, you know, you get a new timeline from a divergent point. You know, like I said, what if in this universe our timeline went, Spidey got the symbiote suit, and that leads us all the way over here. But what if there's another universe where Johnny got it, or T'Challa, or Thor, or Daredevil, or whomever, and that can lead to a bunch of different outcomes that way. When we just do a multiverse and we go, oh, that's also that's Thor as well. Okay, what are we doing here? All right, Clone Geek, get out of here. I will probably be wrapping up here very soon, especially considering I'm already without my handsome co-host, Andrew. I will hit this last one from Masta. Masta says, I don't want a multiverse, but if its reintroduction is Barry meets Jay and it's a surprise, I will love that scene forever. If spoiled ahead of time for me, I will Supergirl their creme. So I think you're going to get a multiverse. I don't think there's any way around that. Because especially with DC, the concept of a multiverse is far more foundational to the idea and existence of DC Comics canon and its identity than it is to Marvel. If you'll remember, Marvel really explores those alternate timelines and stuff. They did them in What If books, which were like one-off stories, or they would do it in a like Days of Future Past, where they go, this is something that could happen. We're going back in time and we're stopping it. They play with time travel more. But DC has always had, you know, not always, but since their very early days, things like the Flash of Two Worlds or the Crystal Ball meeting between Justice Society and Justice League. So again, I guess this is a really good stamp to put on everything, right? Which is, there are, oh, damn it, I lost what I was going to say. It was such a good, I was going to sound like a real streamer, like a real journalist. I think the stamp to put on this, and we look at Supergirl, and we look at just the lay of the land when it comes to comic book movies, is it really comes down to execution. There exists, you know, the idea, like, what am I trying to say? There's that phrase, there's no such thing as a bad idea. That's not entirely true, but it's mostly true. It really comes down to how you want to execute these things. And whether it's a multiverse storyline, or Kara being, you know, a cold-blooded killer, or what have you, there are always ways you can pull that off. It just depends on whether you're willing to put in the work for it or not. I go back to my regular Zack Snyder bit, right? Where his action scenes are pretty damn good. But I'm positive the way he writes a movie is he takes two action figures and he goes, oh, and then Superman comes in, and then Batman, and everybody goes, that's a really cool, like, we can do that, Zach. Not I almost said James. We can do that, Zach. How do we get there? And he just goes, I don't know, fucking, they do. Lex Luthor kidnaps his mom. And then you go, well, what do you mean? Like, but then we move on. Now it's Doomsday, and so I've seen really bad ideas executed super well. I've seen really good ideas executed super terribly. It really just comes down to the individual experience, and that's why, you know, you can, and we all rightfully should, notice trends and, you know, go, oh, this publisher is leaning towards this kind of story, or this, or the DCU's going that way and I might not like it. But it's intellectually dishonest to approach every project going, this is going to be bad because I don't like it for like one reason or another, right? So I think that's all I have to say about Supergirl on my own. I'm sure Andrew and I, over the, you know, coming years, we'll reference it and talk about it at various points. We're still keeping up with the DCU. Again, one bad movie, just like one bad issue or one bad arc, does not negate a character entirely, or an initiative, a concept, whatever, what have you. It really depends on, are you able to pick yourself up after you fall, Bruce? Batman Begins. But, all right, with that, guys, I am going to get out of here. Before we do, I will do all the promo I told Andrew I would give him. So first off, everyone, go to not you, Kara. I'll get back to you someday. So, first, oh man, it's just, I don't need the Andrew one. Where's the one where it's just me? Hold on a second. Where is, there we go. All right, so first up, guys, go to Rippaverse, pre-order, Arcstream False Start. Today is July 2nd. You've got 22 days, barely over 3 weeks, a day over 3 weeks to go and pre-order this before it is gone. It is done. It'll probably sell out again, just like the debut Ripazine number 5, which has the debut of Arcstream and Andrew's stuff in it, is the first official, like, completely wide sold out Rippaverse publication. So jump on that if you like. Also, if you're a Harry Potter head, if you're getting really excited for the upcoming holiday season and the start of the HBO show, head on over to Room of Requirement, as I have pinned right here in our chat. This is Andrew, and this is Andrew's Harry Potter lore channel that he runs with his fiancée, Mary Mayhem. We love her. She's the best. We saw her a little while ago in the chat, posting through the Room of Requirement account. So go over there. They've got regular uploads happening. They just had an upload, I think, like a day or two ago. Lots of good production work from, you know, Andrew and Mary, our friend Dylan, our friend Trace. So lots of good work being put on over there. If you're at all interested in Harry Potter, go hang out over there. Check that out. Masta says he already ordered the book pack. What about me? I, unfortunately, because I'm currently still looking for work, I only ordered one cover, and I ordered the, let me pull that back up. Womp womp. Yeah. I only ordered the cover B, because that's the classic retro throwback cover, and that cover only exists because I demanded it, because I'm a dork about comics and presentations, and I love that throwback stuff. So everybody be like Masta. You want to be cool, right? You want to be cool like Masta, and go pre-order Arcstream False Start. Oh man, Andrew, we miss you already. But I think this is a great way to say goodbye, get out of here. Pro, long time no see, my friend. I was just dropping by on your streams a couple days ago. Rock on, Spencer, good to see you. Pro, good to see you. I miss you, my friend. Hopefully there's a chance for us to link up and do something soon in the future, or just chat. You're doing great, buddy. And yeah, that's all I have for you this week, guys, in terms of intellectually honest comic book talk. Come back here next week, same bat time, same bat channel, for some more of me and Andrew talking to you about the week's new releases. And yeah, guys, that's all I've got. I don't know. Marvel Magic set is out. Now I'm just vamping. I'm gonna hit the outro. Take it easy, everybody. Links to everything down below. Twitters, Discords, Instagrams, all of that. We'll see you soon. To everybody who watches live and chats with us, from Masta to Clone Geek to Johnny to Pro to Punk to Subhuman to Reeve, we see you guys. We love you guys. We couldn't do this without your support. To everybody else who either lurks or watches in the VOD, we see you guys too. Same thing. Without your guys' support, without your guys' interest, Andrew and I wouldn't have either the motivation or the audience to keep doing this. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Until next time, go pre-order ArcStream, and remember, the solicit copy is the sales copy. You have to buy the issue to find out the real story. All right, take it easy, everyone.
Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. What kind of man are you anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?